Hello everyone. So today in this class we will discuss about the physiology of the small intestine. In our earlier class we have already discussed the anatomical portion, right? So let us start with the physiology. What we eat is food, and this food is converted into the bolus. This food will be converted into the bolus. So this is a coordinating effect. This is the result of some coordinated effects um, uh, of the teeth, of the tongue, of the salivary glands, and of course of the muscles of the mastications. So all these converts this food into the bolus. So bolus will be formed in the oral cavity or in the buccal cavity, right? From there, this bolus is transferred to the stomach. This bolus will be transferred to the stomach. So what will stomach do here? It will secrete the gastric juice. The wall of the stomach, gastric juice is secreted by the wall of the stomach, right? So the wall of the stomach will secrete the gastric juice, and these gastric juices will mixed up with the bolus, and this mixing process is actually done by the peristaltic movements. This mixing will be done by the peristaltic movement. So here the gastric juice and the peristaltic movement, these all convert this bolus into the chyme. This will be converted into chyme. Now what happens that this chyme will be passed to the into the lumen of the duodenum, right? What happens at the level of the duodenum or what happens at the level of the small intestine, we will discuss today, right? So in the small intestine, as we have earlier told you that in the small intestine, maximum part of the digestion and maximum part of the absorption occurs, right? So how it happens and what are the basic physiological concept in this, that in small intestine, what is the first need? As you all know that the secretion of the stomach is highly acidic, and first of all the very first thing which we need is to change that acidic environment, to change that particular acidic environment. And why is it so important? Because all the enzymes which comes in contact with the small intestine through the intestinal juice, intestinal secretion, or through the pancreatic secretion, or through the bile juice, whatever it got, these all require a slightly alkaline atmosphere, slightly alkaline environment, right? So that they can work properly. So first of all, the very first thing which we need is to convert the acidic environment into slightly alkaline environment, right? So what will happen that as the food come in contact with the wall of the stomach, wall of the small intestine, the wall of the small intestine or the wall of the duodenum have some specific glands, and these specific glands are known as the Brunner's gland. These glands are the Brunner's gland. So these Brunner's gland, which are situated in the wall of the duodenum, these glands secrete alkaline contents. These glands secrete some alkaline contents, and also the juice of the pancreas, which comes through the pancreatic duct, also contain the alkaline contents, also contain the bicarbs, right? So the bicarbs of the pancreas and the bicarbs of the Werner's gland, all these secretion convert this chyme, the alkaline environment, the acidic environment of that chyme into the alkaline. And what is the optimum environment which these enzymes requires? This would be the 7.8. Okay, so the optimum pH level, you can say, to work for these enzyme, the optimum pH level is 7.8. So it might be around 7.8, a little bit more or less, but this would be the best environment, right? So first of all, this acidic environment is changed into the slightly alkaline environment. And now at the small intestine, two kind of basic functions will be there to digest and to absorb this material. The number one is the chemical digestion, right? One would be the chemical digestion and other would be the mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion. So here the process of the digestion or the process of the absorption will be done by the these two basic processes, right? One is the chemical process and one second one is the mechanical process, right? So what happens at the chemical process, what happens at the chemical level, what changes occurs, let us discuss first, right? First of all, you must know that all the matters which comes in the small intestine will be in the form of undigested particles or in the form of partially digested particles, right? So let us discuss about these one by one. First of all, we will discuss about the protein. So protein will be in the form of the proteose or peptones. This will be in the form of the proteose or peptones. Okay, correct. And here the enzyme, which enzyme? The pancreatic enzyme will work on these, and these pancreatic enzyme will convert these proteases and proteose and the peptones into the dipeptides, right? These will convert these protein into the dipeptide. Here the enzyme which will work on these are named as the proteolytic enzymes. These are known as the proteolytic enzymes. So which are the proteolytic enzyme in the pancreatic juice? Just remember, these are the trypsin, the chymotrypsin, and the carboxypeptide and all. So these all will work on these particular partially digested, or you can see the partially hydrolyzed. So what is hydrolysis? Hydrolysis means when some particle comes in contact with the water and the action reaction converts the result of the reaction will be the breakdown of these particles. That is called the hydrolysis. So these are the partially hydrolyzed proteins, right? And these proteins will be converted into the dipeptide by the proteolytic enzymes of the pancreas. And these proteolytic enzymes are the trypsin, the chymotrypsin, and the carboxypeptide, right? So what we get from the protein is the dipeptide, right? Second thing, carbohydrate. What will happen to the carbohydrate? Carbohydrate actually will be in the form of disaccharides or in the form of polysaccharides. So this actually digestion of the carbohydrate start from the buccal cavity, where you know a very popular enzyme, and that is the salivary amylase. But salivary amylase, as soon as it comes in contact with the lumen of the stomach, it gets destroyed because of the acidic environment of the stomach. So here the carbohydrate will be converted into the disaccharides. This will be converted into the, or starch will be converted into the disaccharides. right? And there is also an amylase which will work on this. That particular amylase is the pancreatic amylase, right? So in the presence of the amylase, in the presence of the amylase, these in the presence of the amylase, these carbohydrate contents will be broken down into the disaccharides, and through the proteolytic enzymes, the protein contents broken down into the dipeptides. And what will happen with the fat? Okay, so the fat will be converted into the diglycerides or into the monoglycerides through the lipase. This will be converted into the diglycerides or monoglycerides, monoglycerides by the lipase. And lipase is also a content of pancreatic juice. So this lipase is actually get activated by the bile, and biles, the lumen of the duodenum will receive the biles from the bile juice, and bile juice is secreted by the gallbladder, not from the liver. The bile juice which receive the duodenum is from the gallbladder. So there would be the concentrated form of the bile. So this fat will be broken down into the diglycerides and monoglyceride in the presence of the lipase, right? And one more thing, that this lipase is get activated by the bile. So as you all know, the bile juice doesn't contain any enzyme, right? What contains bile? The bile contains the bile pigments. What would be the content of the bile juice? There is bile pigments, bile pigments, and you all know them, the bilirubin and the biliverdin. Bilirubin is yellow colored and biliverdin is green colored. That's why the appearance of the gallbladder looks greenish. So one is the bile pigment, second one is the bile salts, the cholesterol, all these, the phosphate, all these are the contents of the bile juice. So what bile do, they activate the lipase. They activate the lipase, and the lipase will convert this fat into the diglycerides and monoglyceride. One more thing bile do, that they actually emulsify the fat. Biles actually emulsify the fat. What is the emulsification? Emulsification means breakdown of the fat globules. So fat would be in the form of the large big globules, and these big globules will be broken down by the bile. So the emulsification, the main work of the bile, the emulsification of the fat, and second one is to activate the lipase. So lipase will be activated by the bile, and it will convert this into the diglycerides, and the second one is the monoglycerides, right? Now what will happen to the nucleic acid? The nucleic acid, as you all know, there is also a specific enzyme, nucleases. So this will convert into the nucleotides. So the There are ribonuclease, there are deoxyribonucleose, ribonucleose digested RNA, deoxyribonucleose digest DNA, and the remaining that will be converted into the nucleosides, right? So these are the basic concept. Now, what will happen here? That here some particular enzyme will come into the work, right? And what are these enzymes? These are the basically brush borders enzyme. These are the brush borders enzyme. We get carbohydrate, we get protein in the form of dipeptide. Now we get the carbohydrate in the form of disaccharides. We have got fat in the form of diglycerides, and of course the nucleases. Well, now the enzyme which will come in the work, that will be the brush border enzyme. So what are the brush border enzymes? Brush border enzymes are basically the enzymes secreted by the innermost cell of the small intestine. We have earlier discussed about in our previous class about the brush border enzymes. So brush border enzyme will come into the work, and they will start the process of the digestion. Now these contents are almost in the simpler form. Now these we have to convert these in more simpler or simpler form so that they can be absorbed. So in this form, the brush border enzyme will come into the action, right? So what will happen actually, that this these dipeptides these dipeptides, simplest form of the protein which can be digested by the cells of our body is the amino acid, is the amino acid amino acid, right? That is the simplest form. And these dipeptide will convert, will break down these dipeptide, breakdown of the dipeptides will be done by the dipeptidase. There is a special brush border enzyme, and that is known as the dipeptidase. So the dipeptidase, dipeptidase will convert this dipeptide into the amino acid, and amino acid body cells can absorb, right? Now these disaccharides and monosaccharides, we will talk about these. First of all, what will happen what will happen to the maltose, right? So here the maltose will be broken down by the specific brush border enzyme, and that is the maltase. That is the maltase. So maltose will be broken down. Maltose will be broken down into two molecule of glucose. Into two molecule of glucose. So this will be like this: glucose plus glucose. So this will be broken down into two molecule of glucose. Second one is the lactose. Second one is the lactose. So what will happen to the lactose? There will be a specific enzyme, and this particular enzyme is lactase. Lactase. So lactase will work on the lactose, and it will break down this lactose into the one molecule of glucose and one molecule of galactose, right? So glucose plus galactose, and the third one is sucrose. So there is also a specific brush border enzyme for this, and that is named as sucrase. That is named as the sucrase. So what sucrase will do? This will break down the molecule of the sucrose into the one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. Glucose plus fructose, right? And last, these all will converted into the simplest form, which can be absorbed by the body cells, right? One more thing, what will happen to the diglycerides and the monoglycerides? So here the lipase will come in the action, and this lipase will break down these molecules into the fatty acid and glycerol. This will convert these into the fatty acid into the fatty acid and plus glycerol. So we have got the smallest component, we have got the smallest molecule, the simplest molecule which our body can absorb. We have converted the protein into the amino acids. We have converted the maltose in the glucose. We have converted lactose into the glucose and galactase. We have converted sucrose into the glucose and fructose, and we have converted the fat into the fatty acids and glycerol. Now this can be absorbed by the body cells. Okay, but when will this process start? How this process will start? The first of all, how the enzyme will come in the action, as all the enzymes which comes into the duodenum, they all are in inactive form. All the pancreatic enzymes, these all the enzymes would be in the inactive form. So what happens when they come into the lumen of the duodenum? There is a specific enzyme, there is a specific secretion which is secreted by the wall of the duodenum, and that specific secretion is known as the enterokinase. This is the enterokinase. Enterokinase. And what this enterokinase will do, it will activate the trypsin. As you all know, there is a the inactive form of trypsin is trypsinogen. So it will convert the trypsinogen into the trypsin, and the trypsin will be get activated, right? Due to the enterokinase, trypsin will be activated, and now trypsin will activate all the enzymes. Trypsin will activate all the remaining enzymes. So first of all the enzymes come into the lumen of the duodenum. Their duodenum will secrete the enterokinase, and these enterokinase will activate the trypsin, and now trypsin will activate all the remaining enzymes. That's what happened at the level of small intestine, right? Now we come to the second form, and that is the mechanical digestion. This was the chemical digestion, right? This was the chemical digestion. Chemical digestion. So what happens at the level of mechanical digestion? Mechanical digestion. What happens at this level? Actually, there are two basic mechanical processes which help in the absorption or in the digestion. The number one is the segmentation. Number one is the segmentation. Segmentation. And second one is the MMC, or is the peristalsis. Right. You can understand by this. So what is segment? Segment means what happens when the food comes in the small intestine. The very first thing will be this, the particular portion of the small intestine in which the food comes, it will get distended, right? This portion of the small intestine, if you can understand by this, if some particles come in contact with this portion of the wall, this portion of the wall, this portion, the wall will be stressed or the wall will be distended by here. The wall will be distended. At this distension starts the process of the segmentation. This starts the process of the segmentation. So what is segmentation? As we told you in the anatomical segment, anatomical portion, that there are two kind of muscles in the wall of small intestine, or two set of the fibers, you can say, two set of the fibers are there in the wall of the sternum, duodenum. One is the circular fiber and second one is the longitudinal fiber. So what happens here, these circular fibers will be contracted, this this circular fiber and this circular fiber, both will be contracted. And now what happens, the particular chyme or particular content remains between these two. They will not go either this way, either this way, right? So this will be contained in a particular segment. Now what happens, that the central circular fiber will also get contracted. So we have got one segment and these central fibers will divide this one segment into a lot of segments. So this will be crust. You can easily understand this process. If you have a toothpaste, if you have a toothpaste with capped on, you will uh, contract the central portion, you will contract the side portion, you will contract the central portion. So what will happen, this content will be slog off forward and backward, right? This will the here this particular chyme will not go along the track, this will not go forward because it is contracted from this side and this side by the circular muscle fiber. So what will happen here, that this particular content will come in contact with the wall of the small intestine, right? They will come again and again in the contact with the wall of the small intestine. And here the process of digestion will start. The process of the digestion will start. And wall of the small intestine absorb the required contents. It will absorb the required contents. So what will happen after this, that when these contents get absorbed, the quantity of the chyme will remain less, and the lesser quantity, what happens there, that the distension of the wall also lessen because the contents get reduced. So the distension will also lessen, and the lessened distension will stop the process of the segmentation, and this lessened distension will stop this process, right? As this process stops, this process starts. As soon as this process stops, this will start. And what is the particular peristalsis? Actually, the peristalsis of the small intestine is known as the MMC, migrating motility complex. So what is this migrating motility complex? What is this kind of? The peristalsis will start from the last part of the stomach. It will start from the last part of the stomach. and this will go to the ileum. This will go to the end of the small intestine, and peristalsis almost take 1.3 to 1.5 to 2 hours to reach at the level of the small intestine, at the level of the large intestine, right? It may take 1.5 to 2 hours to reach at the level of large intestine. So this will propel the food forward. This will propel the food forward. This will not allow the food to go forward. This is a particular segmentation. This is the process of a particular segment. So this process is actually, you can see this process in the wall of the duodenum, in the wall of the ileum, and in the wall of the jejunum also. But the frequency gets shorter. Here, the segmentation will be around 12 per minute, while in the wall of the ileum there would be around 8 segments per minute, right? So the frequency of the segmentation will be reduced in distal part, right? So the peristalsis, what peristalsis is? Peristalsis will move this chyme forward into the lumen, and this will contain the food into one segment, or this particular segment will divide into a lot of segments. So this is the particular way in which the food get digested, and it will be propelled into the large intestine, right? So this was the portion of the physiology of the small intestine. Thank you very much. Thanks again.